Hello Year 6, welcome to Tuesday's Big Read. Our starter today, I'd like you to have a read over the section of text that is on the screen. Why do you think that Elliot is so concerned about leaving his mum alone for too long? And I'd like you to use the information that you can recall from earlier chapters to help you answer that. So I don't need direct quotes, and it is only a starter. But I'd like you to think about, why do you think that Elliot is so concerned about the idea of leaving his mum alone for quite a long period of time? Write those answers down, pause the video as you do so. When you've done that, start the video up again, and we'll move on to a bit of a recap of yesterday's lesson before we look at what we're doing today. I'll speak to you in a second. Okay, so as it always is on a Tuesday, our WALT today is to answer literal retrieval questions. And as ever, I'm going to be expecting you to read the text carefully. I'm going to expect you to skim and scan to locate keywords. And I'm also going to be expecting that you give an appropriate amount of detail in your answers. Let's have a look at exactly what that might look like then. So question 1. No, I don't know why it's gone on to question 2. It should be question 1. What does the word obeyed mean? Oh. Ignore me. I'm going mad. It's because we're looking at the recap. This was yesterday's. So yesterday we were looking at vocabulary, and question number 2 in your vocabulary yesterday was, what does the word obeyed mean? The answer that you should have had is something along the lines of, the word obeyed means to do as you're told or to follow instructions/rules. The orange question for question 2. What slightly offensive phrase does Virgo use to describe what will happen to her if she loses her cardia? And the answer is, the slightly offensive phrase that Virgo uses to describe what will happen if she loses her cardia is, I'll become a pathetic, simple, pointless mortal. And then finally, the red question. What description is a direct contrast to the one of Virgo whistling out a shower of spit? The description that is a direct contrast to Virgo whistling out a shower of spit is the beautiful river that lapped gently at the bank of clouds, as this description is beautiful, whereas shower of spit is revolting. So that is the direct contrast. We'll now move on to have a look at today's literal retrieval questions. So, question number 1 in green, and the answer can be found in that box there. Question number 1 for orange, and question number 1 for red. I'd like you to read over those questions, please. And I'd like you to think about where your answers can be found by using those skimming and scanning techniques. So for question 1, for green, I'd be looking for the word river as I skim and scanned. Question number 1 for orange, I'd be looking for the word boat. And for number 1 in red, I'd either be looking for the word Elysium or onion as I skimmed and scanned. When you've done that, have a go at answering those, remembering to answer in full sentences. Pause the video as you're doing so, and when you've done that, come back and start the video again, and I'll show you what the answers should have been and how they should have been set out. I'll speak to you in a second. Okay. The answers are the river Styx, but you put it in a full sentence using the question in your answer. The name of the river that Elliot and Virgo are on is the river Styx. For the orange question, if it will let me click, there we go. What is unusual about the way the boat is travelling? The unusual thing about the way the boat is travelling is that it is being rowed through the sky. And then in red, Elysium is like the outside layer of an onion, because it is the outside layer of the world and wraps around the next realm, Earth. So they are how I would expect you to be answering them, and they are the first answer that you should have got, depending on which colour you went for, of course. For the next 4 questions, I'd like you to make sure you answer in exactly the same way, making sure you're writing in full sentences, and making sure that you're skimming and scanning to find your answer. My picture and my voice are going to disappear off the video now, but it will continue playing right the way through to question 5, at which point the video will end, because that is the last question. Have a go at answering all of those, please, choosing one of the colours each time, and when you've done that and got your answers, send in a picture to myself and I can then get you some feedback. Speak to you again later with later's English video. But for now, that's everything from me, but the video will continue and I will speak to you later.